Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. District Attorney Sandra Dorley, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. My name is Chris Chichester. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. Perry Duckles, Deputy District Attorney of Monroe County. What are the names of my prosecutors? You will refuse to tell me. That's insane. So this is a document that was sent to Federal Express. Shield on Sheriff Todd Baxter's $83,291.42. Attic Shannon and Meyer. April 16th. FedEx has sent this. Todd Baxter, Sandra only mailed the names of my prosecutor's son. The address is the blow in Rochester, New York. Read these 6 attached PDF documentation. Ask me about sexual harassment in your offices. Vice Shannon and Meyer time. So, this is it here. It's a FedEx receipt. I'm not surprised what happened. What happened, Public Defender Julie Cianca? What happened, Patronage High? Here it is right here. FedEx. I'm going to point to this here in the attorney's office, sheriff's office, in Janson, McNair, and Julie Cianca. So here's your address right here, Todd Baxter, 130 South Plymouth Avenue. Here's Captain Scott O'Berty. I'm telling him I'm being violently attacked by psychopaths like Richard J. Seaton at the Pampa Public Library and an unidentified psychopath at the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans. And you're Deputy Todd Thurston. Todd, fire Richard J. Seaton immediately. He will attack other innocent citizens. Richard J. Seaton's a $75,000 taxpayer-financed psychopath, Todd. Michael Rather, who's paid $75,000 less than Richard J. Seaton? Are you paid private money from Todd Baxter's campaign accounts he created in 2017 and 2021 when he ran for sheriff? What's the answer, Michael Rather? And your answer is he should be arrested for asking me that question. Is it private money or is it not private money? How do you go into work for $0? You're not a double dipper, unlike Todd Baxter. Is Janson McNair a double dipper? The answer is yes. You, Janson McNair, have you 20 years from the sheriff's office? And then you were hired. Did Adam Bello hire you or not? Because I have his address here, Adam J. Bello. I may even go to Twitter account. That's what I'm going to do. So, and I'm also going to send this to Adam J. Bello at 39 West Main Street in Rochester, New York. Did Adam J. Bello have anything to do with you, Patronage hired Janson McNair at the Office of Public Integrity? Are you a double dipper? I believe the answer is yes. What's the answer? Have you ever had a real job, Janson McNair? Where you're not screwing taxpayers, we're not siphoning money from taxpayers. So, Sandra, Lisa Gray. What are the names of my prosecutors, Lisa Gray? How many times do I have to ask you this? Lisa Gray, right here. February 1, this is corruption. This is in the packet of documents that I sent to your office. I think I included this one. YouTube 4 Perry Duckles, Monroe County District Attorney's Office, February 1. What are the names of my prosecutors, Perry Duckles? Your refusal to answer me is corruption. YouTube perjurer, 73,312, Michael Suhan, the Sheriff's Office. Explain that. Violent Sheriff Todd K. Baxter and $75,000 Richard J. Seaman. Todd Thurston, doesn't matter to you as a duly sworn officer of the law that Richard J. Seaman ran at me at the Pampa Public Library, slammed, and then my head hit the ceramic tile. Does that matter to you, Todd, that Richard J. Seaman did that to me? Does it matter to you, Todd, that Michael C. Houlihan and Don Benedetto, Todd Baxter's $85,000 freak, is Don Benedetto, walked onto the private property of my 82-year-old neighbor 2 years ago. They come running at me in the dark at midnight, turn around and run away. I never stopped running. I grab a hammer alongside my back porch. I'm about to run up the back porch. I place my foot on the first of 3 steps. Michael C. Houlihan grabs my arm, the hammer goes up, I pull away and run through the sliding glass door. On the body camera footage of Michael C. Houlihan or Don Benedetto or both, I say, fuck you. I never stopped running. Michael C. Houlihan went back to the Jonestown of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, said I swung a hammer at him when it's impossible for me to do that as I ran the whole time, and I'd have to stop and pivot and then swing the hammer at this idiot psychopath, Michael Houlihan. You, Michelle Crowley, can be in the grand jury where I'm not called as a witness. You got your 18 to 24 anonymous idiots. When Michael C. Houlihan says in your grand jury, Michelle Crowley, that I swung a hammer at him, Michael C. Houlihan perjures himself. So, Perry Duckles, what are the names of my prosecutors? Michael C. Houlihan's a perjurer. Richard J. Seaman's a violent fanatic. This is why you're psychopaths at the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office. You don't know you're psychopaths. This is what I called you psychopaths here. February 2nd, 2023, psychopath saying Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Judge Alex Renzi. Who sent me into Alex Renzi? Who forced me into Alex Renzi, Perry Duckles? Who is it? Disgusting, sickening, nauseating existence at District Attorney's Office and Sheriff's Office. So, I'm telling Janson McNair being violently attacked, former employee of the Sheriff's Office patronage hire, demanding an intimate prosecutor's silence from you, demanding other information from you. I'm sending this to you via Federal Express. Wow, I got a message from Federal Express.
Hi, this is Bill with FedEx calling in Rochester. I've got two packages you sent to two addresses in Rochester, New York. They were both refused. One is addressed at 10 North Fitzhugh Street for the Monroe County Public Defender, Julie Cianca. The other one is for 45 Exchange Boulevard, Office of Public Integrity to Janson, McNair. We have the packages at our office at 2580 Manitou Road if you wanted to pick them up, or we could just shred the contents if you don't want the package returned. If you do want the package returned officially, we will need a FedEx account number to return it. You are charged for the return, and these will bill to a credit card. It's up to you. Our phone number is 1-800-463-3339. That's 1-800-GO-FedEx. Your tracking numbers are 3971 2428 3345. Second one is 3971 2438 3521. Thank you.
The Monroe County Public Defender, Julie Cianca, is returning this document where over and over and over Public Defender Julie Cianca to tell me the name. This is information you have. Possible existence is tax dollars. So, the Shield, Sheriff Todd Baxter is $83,291.02 Fanatic Shannon Meyer. April 16th, mail names on prosecutor Sazos, the blower, Rochester, New York, read 6 attached PDF documents, answer me on sexual harassment, your office, fire Shannon and Meyer. Right here, the first CC, because I knew you were going to refuse. I put your name first so I could find it easily. Julie Cianca at monroecounty.gov. There's Mark Phillips at monroecounty.gov, and there's Regina Harper at monroecounty.gov. It is insane for a public defender financed by the taxpayers to refuse to tell a defendant in a courtroom the names of prosecutors. Insane. You will never know you're insane. Affliction, Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra, Judge Alex Renzi, mail names on prosecutor Sansi. I just blown Rochester, New York. I'm not going to go through that again as far as reading that whole thing. Disordered, mail names on prosecutor Sansi. I just listed blown Rochester, New York. Same language. Sexual harassment, the Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office. This is what I believe can remove you from office. I'm not trying to engage in any type of hyperbole, be hysterical. If you have settled lawsuits under Title VII of 1964 Civil Rights Act because of what's commonly called sexual harassment, you cannot remain in office. Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sanders Dorley have been demanding this for 18 months. Total silence from you animals. Mail names on prosecutor Sansi, the address listed below in Rochester, New York. Read the 6 PDF attached documentation. Answer me about sexual harassment. The office resigned. This is April 10th. This 1964 Civil Rights Act is one of the most consequential laws ever passed in the United States of America, the most consequential law of the 20th century. Are you in compliance with it or not? The Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney's Office. First, I wasn't giving my opinion. Now I will. The answer is no. This sexual harassment is the Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney's Office, and that can remove you from office. I've included this twice in the next two. I think it's 5,000 words. To Alex Calabrese, President and Chief Executive Officer of Lollipop Farm Humane Society. I'm not going to dwell on this because this is really exhausting and I could possibly lose it if I talk about this. It's my little guy with me for 8 years. When I was asked in 2012, when I went to Lollipop Farm Humane Society with my then girlfriend Laura Riley, we lived together in Webster, have you ever been arrested? The answer is no. Came to my residence based on one phone call from Nayrod Shaw, 50-year-old man who lives with his 70-year-old mother, Layla Kumar, trying to seize my dog, Todd Baxter. That's why people hate the police. You will never know at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Thurston, Michael Radler, Kathleen Miller, William Tadeo, why citizens hate the police. That's the reason why. So I say here, in this one graph I'll read, I asked the animal control reject about his paw. And if his 10+ foot pole is supposed to be fixed around the neck of my dog that weighs less than 15 pounds. He looked like the farmer with the pitchfork in American Gothic. These three stooges left without my dog. Sheriff Todd Baxter of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office believes his employees must seize the dog from a dog owner because of one phone call. That day is an abomination, and another day that's an abomination awaits. Degenerates. A degenerate sheriff comes to the home of an innocent citizen and demands his dog. Who are these two freaks? Your entire Monroe County Sheriff Office, Jonestown, are freaks. They want to come to my residence and seize my dog so they can go back to Jonestown and laugh and talk about how they took a dog away from a citizen. I said, you'll have to kill me to take my little guy from me. I will not be able to adopt another dog when I go back to Albany because they will do a background check upon me and I'll be inclined. Doesn't matter if the prosecutor's never talked in court. I've been in jail 6 times. How is any citizen in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? And for me, it's because of Paul C. Metzler and John P. Menzel Jr. in Pennsylvania Court. They're just deciding one person at 1985 Bad Road in a little room without a jury of 12, without a witness box of testimony, without a table for a defense attorney, without a table for a prosecutor. One person, Paul C. Metzler and John P. Menzel Jr. decided I should be in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court. And then one of you psychopaths at the district attorney's office elevated me to Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. And who is it? You have that name. I'll pursue disbarment with every single one of these. This is my YouTube to Jason Tracy, Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Rochester, New York. I'm not going to explain the facts and circumstances of that, but you can watch me explain it. If you click on YouTube or go to TikTok. Refusal, I'll go with basic words, and then I'll go with the inflammatory words. Refusal, just refusing to tell me the names of my prosecutors. So, over and over and over. Public Defender Julie Cianca, this isn't language that you have. Excuse me, this is information that you have. Corruption facts in Pennsylvania Court, $28,000 Paul C. Metzler. You, Sheriff Todd Baxter, gave my health care records in violation of the Health Insurance Privacy Protection Act of 1996 to this bald-headed, skin-headed, psychopath widow, Paul C. Metzler, and think about the best possible lie about you violating federal law and giving my health care records to this fucking hack. So, ludicrous. It's ludicrous to refuse to tell me the names of my prosecutors assigned to my public appearances. It's ludicrous for a duly sworn officer of law to violently attack an innocent citizen. Silence at Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. This is why you're returning my mail to me, because I'll guess that you perhaps have seen me on YouTube. I don't like to make predictions about individuals. I guess you see me on YouTube or you see me and I'm emailing you relentlessly and you're going to send my mail back to me. You know the names of my prosecutors, Public Defender Julie Cianca, and you're refusing to tell me the names of my prosecutors, Julie Cianca, and that's insane. Abuse of power. To be in jail without a prosecutor talking in court is abuse of power. To be in jail 6 times without a prosecutor talking in court is abuse of power. I'll go to the non-inflammatory language identification. Who is it? Who are they? Who are these psychopaths that are prosecuting me in silence? So, it's insane. It's insane to be in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court. I guarantee you have the same anger as I do and have. If you were in jail without a prosecutor talking in court, in the language in jail, quote the judge is holding you. That's what Gina Harper told me. When I'm in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, and every day I have to go to the kiosk to ask, when am I going to be released? Quote, the judge is holding me. That's what Regina Harper said to me when I was at Livingston County Jail. Where Peyton Gendron was, I'm just going to do a quick Google to make sure I have his name right. Does Peyton Gendron sound familiar to you psychopaths? If I have his name right, because I'm in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo, New York, where I don't live. And here it is, CNN.com, Buffalo grocery store mass shooter apologizes. here. I'm just going to make sure I have that right about him being in Livingston County Jail. Peyton Gendron, top gunman, placed in federal. Peyton Gendron, 19, was transferred Thursday to Livingston County Jail after appearing in federal court in Buffalo. This is what you're doing to me. I was at the jail with a mass murderer. Excuse me, at the same jail, a mass murderer. He wasn't there at the same time I was. Peyton Gendron. City of Freaks. Todd Baxter, San Jorge. Sheriff Todd Baxter and San Jorge. You're freaks at the sheriff's office, district attorney's office. Duly sworn officers of the law violently attacking me. That's why you freaks at the sheriff's office, like Richard J. Seidman. And duly sworn officers of the court are prosecuting in silence. And what are their names? And you're going to refuse to tell me their names. So, that's in Saratoga. Just going to play a little bit of this again because corruption requires repetition.
I've got 2 packages you sent to 2 addresses in Rochester, New York. They were both refused. One is addressed at 10 North Fitzhugh Street for the Monroe County Public Defender, Julie Cianca. The other one is for 45 Exchange Boulevard, Office of Public Integrity to Janson, McNair.
That's right. Office of Public who has no integrity. I'm going to make a transcript of this when I contact the United States Department of Justice. I'm going to say the public defender of Monroe County, the county I live in, will not tell me the names of my prosecutors for silence, and that's the same. Did you pick up the phone and call the county executive or anybody else in Monroe County to get Janson McNair that job as director of public integrity? And what exactly does he do? And is he a double dipper? I believe that he is. I'm guessing if he's a double dipper. He should be fired immediately. And he won't. You know why? He won't. Because Monroe County is a corrupt county. That's why. Just like Michael T. Fowler and Corey Brown paid more money than you. Michael T. Fowler, he's not just paid $5,000 or $10,000 more than you. He needs Corey Brown. Michael T. Fowler's paid $31,000 more than you. Corey Brown's paid $23,000 more than you. I believe your salary is $132,000. Have you gotten a raise? I said the salary's here. $31,000. I believe you paid $132. $155. $23 because I believe you paid $132. Have you gotten a raise, any cost of living adjustment or anything like that? Because Sandra Dorley on the district attorney's office payroll, I think she's up to $210,000. Yes. So now Perry Duckles. This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. Who is it? Who are the freaks prosecuting in silence? Your refusal to answer is corruption. This is the payroll of the district attorney's office. Who's the freak? Who are the freaks prosecuting me in total silence? Perry Duckles. So, you refuse to answer. So, this is overtime for the district attorney's office. Sandra Dorley was paid $16,000 in overtime. It's not enough for this greedy hack just to have her salary set in statute. $16,000. I hope I have that right. So, here is registered mail return receipt I sent on April 6th demanding names of our prosecutors. I don't hear anything. See right here. After Scott Alberti, Todd Baxter, Todd Thurston, I get the district attorneys. This is Sandra Dorley on April 6th. Perry Duckles on April 6th. Lisa Gray, counsel on April 6th. So, Lisa Gray, I contacted you via email right here on February 1. This is corruption. February 1, Lisa Gray. How long ago was that? And here you are with your name. The card you come back and haven't checked yet. Lisa Gray, what are the names of my prosecutors? I'm telling you right here. In this link to Perry Duckles that I sent to you. What are the names of my prosecutors? You should have signed for this. You can see me on YouTube. So there's 3 ways that you know I'm demanding information to you. When your signature is here or when this package is delivered to you. When I'm on YouTube. And then when you get this email. That is insane to refuse to disclose names to me in a public proceeding that's a courtroom. Does not matter to you that the prosecutor doesn't talk in court. January 24th, 2023. I went with the two basic words here. You're freaks. Todd Baxter, Sandra Dorley. January 24th, you're freaks. Comply with the attached PDF dated January 24th, 2023. The 70 Freedom of Information Law documents. Attached PDF will rob your office of your registered mail return receipt. The United States Postal Service mail the information on demand, the address below in Rochester, New York. This includes the names on prosecutor's silence. So I'm going to look up here at Julie Cianca's name, which is there, Mark Phillips's name, which is there, and Regina Harper's name, which is there. The Public Defender's Office on January 24, 2023 knows I'm demanding disclosure of the names of my prosecutors. Quote, the prosecutor's not backing down. That's what Regina Harper, the Public Defender's Office, said to me. Then I demanded from her at that moment, what is his name? She refused to tell me. That's the same. So, just like paying your employees more money than you, Todd Baxter. I got the documentation where I believe you're just trying to disclose to me information that you know is not going to embarrass and humiliate you. I'm going to have perhaps 10 to 15 questions about this trip for these two. They should never be out of Monroe County. Not only are Corey Brown and Michael Fowler in Saratoga, perhaps the most beautiful county in all 62 counties in New York. You got Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia. You testified before the House Rules Committee. You beat a Muslim skinhead in Washington, D.C. As I'm a former House and Senate staffer, I'm going to tell you the way it works on Capitol Hill, Todd Baxter. The House Rules Committee has nothing to do with legislation, and especially has nothing to do with police power and the police of the United States. The House Rules Committee sets the rules for when legislation is introduced on the floor of the House of Representatives, such as the time for debate and amendments that can be offered, and any number of things that the House Rules Committee can do. And it has nothing to do with law enforcement. You invited yourself down to Washington, D.C. They didn't want anything to do with you, and they deposited you in the House Rules Committee, you Benito Mussolini skinhead. You're going to testify about law enforcement and how you do your job and what you encounter in Monroe County should be before the House Judiciary Committee, which has a subcommittee for the police and for the courts. You're in the House Rules Committee because you're rejected by the United States House of Representatives on Capitol Hill. Doesn't want anything to do with you. And who did you go there with? You didn't go by yourself. When you're out of Monroe County, you're refusing to do your job as a Monroe County Sheriff when you sit in front of that microphone on Capitol Hill. So, what hotel did you stay at in Washington, D.C., Todd Baxter? Because that's not a day trip. Are you aware of that? What was the total cost to the taxpayers of Monroe County, Sheriff Todd Baxter, for you to be in Washington, D.C., testifying before the House Rules Committee that has nothing to do with law enforcement? So, these are your employees here. Salary for the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office. I'm just going to go the page I have marked here, and the employee name that I'm looking for on this page is Richard J. Seaton, $75,904. This is a psychopath cop that should be fired immediately. When I write the criminal complaint about him, slamming his arm at the side of my head, the force, that's a violent attack, and then my head hitting ceramic tile, Richard J. Seaton will not be fired. Richard J. Seaton will not be arrested because you're the blue wall silence, Todd Baxter. That's why. What are you doing to me? I no longer have my DD-214. I have to try to keep it together because of Antonino Spano, Fairport, New York, and my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley. It is a crime in the state of New York to lock the doors on a tenant without a court order. That happened to me because of this 80-year-old man, Antonino Spano. He will not be arrested because he's 80 years old, and because I'm the one that's going to write the criminal complaint about him. My ex-girlfriend will not be arrested for taking everything I own to a storage locker. Storage locker's been cleaned out. My bed's gone. My books are gone. My couch is gone. My bikes are gone. My clothes are gone. Every single thing I own is gone because of Antonino Spano, Fairport, New York. My ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley's copied on it, who refused to tell me now for 18 plus months the facts and circumstances of my psychopath landlord, 80-year-old Antonino Spano, locking doors and locking me out without a court order. So, this is the accusatory history from this freak Shannon Meyer that you gave $16,000 raise to here. Every sentence here is a lie. which I've said to you repeatedly. A piece of paper delivers me to Monroe County Jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court because of John P. Menzel Jr. It's the first time I appeared in a courtroom where it didn't have anything to do with a speeding ticket. What's it say about a life of 50 years old on July 4, 2015, when I have a speeding ticket in Albany, New York that was dismissed in court? I have a speeding ticket in Washington, D.C. that was dismissed in court. What that says is I've always known constitutes a criminal act. I have to appear before this John P. Menzel Jr., who released accused child predator and rapist Daniel Glaus III, and he has a relationship with the family. Redirect defendants away from this nauseating, sick, vile room that's Penfield Town Court that doesn't have a jury of 12, doesn't have a witness box for testimony, doesn't have a table for a prosecutor, defense attorney. It's an assembly line of guilt in that room. And I have not read yet from these two hacks, Paul C. Metzler and James P. Jr., who list the defendants. How far back does this go? The reason why it's sealed and it has not been opened, I really would be nauseous if I have to look at this one. I'm going to see my name. And I'm going to see my neighbor's name, Adam, on here. He was a terrific guy. My neighbor, Adam, my former neighbor, Adam, uses a word that's 4 letters and begins with a C to describe John P. Menzel Jr. Because the same thing happened to him that happened to me in Monroe County Jail without a prosecutor talking in court. So I'll open this. And when I see my name on there, it's going to be anger I'll have to control. But this is not for the last 5 years. I believe everybody's guilty. They don't know how to acquit anybody in Penfield Town Court. They don't know how to acquit a defendant. Because to acquit a defendant takes morality and thought and decency. And you have to accept the fact that the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter, is a collection of psychopath cops. They can't make these decisions. James P. Jr., John P. Menzel Jr., Paul C. Metzler. All they are is a ridiculous, cliched rubber stamp for you psychopaths at the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office. So, payroll for the District Attorney's Office. Who is it, Perry Duckles? Who are the freaks? A prosecutor is a freak who doesn't talk to court as a citizen is delivered to jail. That's a freak every time. And you, Perry Duckles, are the freak at the District Attorney's Office who's refusing to tell me the names of these freaks. So, this is the Freedom of Information Law here. It's blank. I'm going to continue to fill this out. I hope to fill this out 3 times in the next 10 days. Sometimes it changes because of what I'm doing in my life. What I'm doing in my life is trying to move away from Monroe County. I'm trying to leave Monroe County and be out of here before one of you psychopaths at the District Attorney's Office writes the warrant for me, or one of you psychopaths at the Sheriff's Office files, stalks, and tracks me to bring me to the corrupt judge. I have to leave because I'll be in jail again. And if I don't leave, and you psychopaths concoct more crimes for me, and I'm in jail again, I'll have this as a record saying I knew this was going to happen to me. This is going to be filled out. I don't know how many times I'm going to send it to you, but it's going to be relentless. When I say relentless over the next 6 to 12 months, I will always be demanding information from you, even when I don't live here anymore. So, and you've received it. The document, the Freedom of Information Law. And it doesn't matter to you. Because the law is a joke to you. Like January 28th. This is what I believe can remove you from office, Todd Baxter and Paul C. Metzler. A copy of the private health care records delivered to $28,000 Penfield Town Court Judge Paul C. Metzler by Sheriff Todd Baxter of Monroe County in violation of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. That's called HIPAA. Why does Paul C. Metzler know and my mother father know? Because you told her, that's why. I passed the 730 mental health evaluation. These 730s are extremely frightening because it depends on the evaluator. And the evaluator can be corrupt. The evaluator can be incompetent. You gave my healthcare records there. How is that explained, you Benito Mussolini skinhead? If you're confused, why I have a hatred for you, Todd Baxter? This is a reason among the 100 reasons, 500 reasons. When she said language to me, I'm not going to say what it is. That only my mother and father know. I'm sitting there in this star chamber. I'm looking at this bald-headed widow. And I'm thinking about you, Todd Baxter, telling her about my life. Telling her about my life. Delivering my healthcare records right to Paul C. Metzler. So this is January 18th. Total number contract signed by District Attorney Sandra Dolly to purchase products, commodities, goods, materials from Monroe County District Attorney's Office. When I sent this to Control Thomas P. DiNapoli, I'll say that I demanded from you on January 18th, and you refused. This corruption contracted. Your pens, your pads, your papers, your copy machines. I demand to know how every single penny is spent by this sickening, disgusting diva, Sandra Dorley, who doesn't know if she's the Democrat or Republican. Again, the total number of contracts signed by District Attorney Sandra Dorley purchased commodities, goods, materials for the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. That's January 10th. Documentation signed by Pembroke Town Court Judge James Mullen Jr. for the case of defendant Jermaine L. Benman with the assigned employee of the District Attorney's Office, Assistant District Attorney Jessica Wagner. Do you know what I'm talking about, Perry Douglas? I've been on here repeatedly about this Jessica Wagner. I go to a gym called PW Fitness. I'm on the bench press. Up walks to me Jermaine L. Benman. He goes like this with his hand. I say, I'll be 30 seconds. He stands over me, punches down my head, snaps back behind me. I have to think about my inaction that day because I should have started a fight with him. I should have attacked him. And I've taken steps that this is never going to happen to me again in my life. I know how to defend myself in a much better way than on this day. Jermaine Benman snaps my head back. He begins to walk away. Who did I just harass, Perry Douglas? Who did I just harass, Mark Monahan? Who did I just harass, Kathleen Miller, Michael Rather, William Tadeo, Scott Alberti? Who? This is why people hate the police. I was just violently attacked. My head snapped back by Jermaine L. Benman. Andrew Reale Roscus. Andrew Reale knows me as criminal attempt. Criminal attempt where I tell a man to track nobody owns land and run back on my residence. Go up back on my residence. And Shannon runs into my backyard and falls down on her face. That's not a crime. To tell a man on his tractor, Steve Desmond, a Brocola tree and long, and nobody owns that land, what back my residence, that's not a crime. Psychopath Sheriff Todd Baxter and fire Shannon Meyer. Benman snaps my head back. We go out to the vehicle. I'm in the back seat. Andrew Reale tells Jermaine Benman what to say to me, and this is how I'm charged with arrest per second. I want you to press charges against you with those 7-1 charge of arrest per second. I appear in front of John P. Lorenzo Jr., where the prosecutor doesn't talk in court. What's the name of the prosecutor doesn't talk in court? Is that Julian or is that not Julian, Barry Douglas? So I'm in Monroe County Jail for arrest per second sitting in the backseat of Andrew Reale's Monroe County Sheriff Office. Jermaine L. Benman has to appear before you, James Smalley Jr., because there's a deal between Jessica Wagner of the District Attorney's Office and you, James Smalley Jr., to allow Jermaine Lamar Benman to walk right out the door to freedom when he's a violent criminal. James Smalley Jr. and employees of the District Attorney's Office, does Jermaine L. Benman have a prior violent criminal record, any criminal record? Do you know that answer, James Smalley Jr.? When you freed this violent Doug, Jermaine L. Benman, James P. Mully Jr., did you research if he has a prior criminal record? And it is a violent criminal record. What is your conversation with Jessica Wagner, the District Attorney's Office, James Mully Jr.? If you don't watch me, I understand that. But I'm going to write this down. I'm going to say that I said this here on this YouTube about you, James Mully Jr., because you, James Mully Jr., believe in violence. The contract signed by Sheriff Todd Baxter to purchase firearms from Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees to include the name of the firearms contract and the number of firearms purchased, total amount of taxpayer dollars expended to purchase firearms. What's the answer? My contact control times be dapping and telling you refuse to answer. Documentation signed by District Attorney Sandra Dorley, created Commission Integrity Unit in the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. December 14, 2022. This is why she's corrupt. A psychopath district attorney has to form a separate bureaucracy within her district attorney's office to police herself. This is why she's a nauseating, sick buffoon. Conviction, integrity unit, those 3 words. You exonerate citizens? The answer is no. Freedom of Information Law, December 22nd, the contract signed by Sheriff Todd Baxter to purchase firearms from Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Employees to include the name of the firearms contract and the number of firearms purchased, total amount of taxpayer dollars expended to purchase firearms. Just open this up randomly and see which one I'm going to get to here. Yes, here. This is perfect. This is what I believe can remove you from office. Freedom of Information Law. Total cost of overtime, time and a half hour paid beyond base salaries calculated to Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Sandra Dorley, what are you doing with overtime? Here. Because here's the District Attorney's Office payroll. Here are you freaks here. So I'm going to just pick one freak out here. So we have Monica O'Brien is paid $92,000. Monica O'Brien existed about $150,000 with overtime. And what's the answer, you pathetic diva, Sandra Dorley? And your answer is he should be arrested for demanding this disclosure of me at the district attorney's office. So here is UPS, where I have to go back to UPS sending my packages back to me. So I'm going to walk in there today to get my package from Janson McNair, Patronage hired Director of Office of Public Integrity, and Julie Cianca, whose entire existence at the Public Defender's Office, tax dollars, who knows the names of my prosecutors who refused to tell me. And so here on March 30th and April 3rd here, I'm going to see here who's 1, 2 here. I believe it's somebody at the Public Defender's Office here. So I'll have to look here where I'm telling you to disclose the names of my prosecutors assigned. Let's say you are Mark Phillips right here. So Mark Phillips on March 31st, here's your name right here, along with Julie Cianca and Trini Ross. So on this day here, Mark, I'm telling you to disclose the names of my prosecutors. You're refusing, and that's the same. And also, and Alex Renzi's on here. I'm going to get to the director of the grand jury because I'm Michelle Crowley's ham sandwich. How come you didn't call me to the grand jury when Michael Hoonan approached himself? I believe I included that documentation, that YouTube. Go to the YouTube box, Michelle Crowley, type your name. You're going to see me talking to you. I'm going to send that to you again. And I'm going to update it. Because is there a transcript of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, that indicted me? How many grand jurors are there? Is it 18 to 24? What's the exact number? When did the grand jury take place? What are your conversations with Michael Hoonan and Don Benedetto about being on private property of my neighbor? Is it a crime to walk onto the private property anywhere in the state of New York for 2 cops to hide and hibernate and wait for a citizen? Do the cops have standing to be on the private property and run from the private property onto the private property of another neighbor? What's the answer? Michelle Crowley, you don't have an answer about anything because you're corrupt. That's why. So, April 3rd, the first name on here, Regina Harper, Monroe County Public Defender, and I didn't hear anything. So, over and over and over, you're refusing. Here, January 12th. This is January 12th. Here's all your emails here at Psychopaths Incorporated. January 12th. Apply with attached PDF dated January 12, 2023. There's 70 Freedom of Information Law documents. This attached PDF will arrive at your offices via registered mail return receipt from the United States Postal Service tomorrow. Mail the information and demand to my address below in Rochester. This includes the names of our prosecutors' silence. So this bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzler, what's in here? She's telling me you want to get me in Penfield Town Court when I don't live in Penfield and declare me guilty and send me to jail, hold me in jail as long as you want? The judge is holding you. When I contact this House and Senate Judiciary Committee and the Office of Court Administration about this judge is holding you, how is it Public Defender Julie Cianca, Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips, and Assistant Public Defender Regina Harper, you don't make the argument when I'm in jail, the prosecutor didn't talk in court. It's as simple as that. I don't have to be a law school graduate. I don't have to have a JD to understand that the best argument is this citizen's in jail, should be released immediately because the prosecutor didn't talk in court. Because the prosecutors never talked in court for me. So. Now, here is December 22nd. Chichester Christopher 99 at Proton.me. It's called Hatred. Comply with attached PDF dated December 22nd. That is 67 Freedom of Information Law documents. We signed for this documentation dated December 24th and December 26th, 2022. January 10th. Apply with the attached PDF dated January 10th. That is 70 Freedom of Information Law documents. This attached PDF will arrive at your office of the United Postal Service tomorrow. Mailing information and demand the address below in Rochester. This includes the names on prosecutor's silence. I am astonished. I'm trying to think of the exact precise language, but astonished is a good word. Now, when I'm telling you psychopaths, the district attorney's office and the public defender's office, to tell me the names of my prosecutors, you're refusing every single time. So, and it's one of these freaks. So is it Eleanor E. Biggers, $93,000? Is it Scott M. Miles, $94,000? Is it Charles J. Dominic, $85,000? Is it Patrick M. Gallagher, $97,000? And when is it the last name money, Rachel A. Clark? Is Rachel A. Clark my prosecutor or not? Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan. What's the answer? How do you come up with the salary for the last name on the district attorney's office, Rachel A. Clark? $94,229 and 25 cents. It's really astonishing, mind-boggling. You got Rachel A. Clark paid 25 cents in her salary. Is there some type of civil service pay scale that you're forced to use? Or Sandra Dorley just decide that 25 cents Rachel A. Clark really needs? I'm trying not to laugh. This is why you're a joke at the district attorney's office. You can't even have a coherent payroll. So, now, you in jail without a prosecutor talking in court, Perry Duckles? I guarantee you'd be enraged about it. Read Perry Douglas of Monmouth County District Attorney's Office, January 1. January 1, 2023, Perry Douglas attached a PDF 61-page Freedom of Information Law document dated December 20, 2022, derived in the Office of UPS. This documentation also arrived December 22 and December 26, 2020, via UPS track. You have it. Now, I already said that, but this is what I wanted to get to. This is the language I didn't read. A prosecutor has never talked to court for me. Yet I have been in jail 6 times. This is fanaticism and hatred at your office that deserves the attention of the United States Department of Justice. This is in the United States Department of Justice, Perry Duckles, in the person of Trinine Ross. I don't know what she's going to do. She could blow it off. She could be as drenched in corruption. She could be absolutely corrupt, just like Sandra Dorley. I would never know it. But I'm going to find out. How do you look at this that I emailed to you, that's in the documentation that arrives in your office before your boss too? How do you possibly look at this? What I'm telling you, disclose the names of my prosecutors over and over and over. How? Corruption, fanaticism, hatred, extremism, buffoonery. It's all of those things to refuse. So, tell me who it is. So, you will continue to hear from me relentlessly. I'm going to be demanding information from you relentlessly. And you will continue to refuse. Liberty is the soul's right to breathe. The suffocation of my liberty is because of you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, you, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, you, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, you, Paul C. Messer, you, James C. Melley Jr., and Pelford Court. My name is Christopher Chichester. I'm an innocent man.